Man, look at my beautiful ass wife. This is what you call a mission complete. My wife was like, babe, can I go step out and have a few drinks with the young ladies, the girls? I said, babe, you goddamn right. I said, you tell them one thing.
Months after believing she had found the man she would build her future with, 38 years old Shaterrica Smith never imagined the real danger was living under the same roof. The husband she once trusted would soon become the last person she ever saw. For most people living on Ronmar Drive in Alexandria, Louisiana, the early morning of March 30th, 2025 felt quiet and normal. Streetlights glowed softly, homes rested in silence, and nothing about the neighborhood hinted at the fear unfolding inside one apartment. But inside a unit on the 5900 block, everything was collapsing. At 4:30 a.m., officers rushed to the scene after a 911 call reported a domestic disturbance. When they stepped inside, nothing could have prepared them for what they found. 2 bodies, 1 gun, 1 devastating moment. In seconds, a lifetime of dreams, memories, and plans for the future disappeared without warning. But before that tragic final act, before the argument that spiraled into a horror no one could undo, we need to understand the woman behind the headlines. To grasp the weight of what was lost, we must go back to the beginning, to the life, the light, and the love that shaped Shaterrica Danielle Smith.
Man, look at Charlie. My wife treat him like a baby. Look at him, look, man. Golden doodle, y'all. Everybody sit there and share this here.
Get down! Stop, he's just a baby. Get down!
Born on November 9th, 1980, in Alexandria, Louisiana, Shaterrica grew up surrounded by deep warmth and unwavering affection. While little was known about her biological father, one presence in her life was impossible to ignore. Her mother, Terry Smith, she was not just a parent, she was her anchor, her mentor, and her constant source of strength. Terry's steady guidance shaped the woman her daughter would grow to become. From a young age, Shaterrica carried a spark within her that made her stand out. She was energetic, outgoing, and filled with a joy that couldn't be contained. Family friends often described her as a natural magnet, someone whose laughter felt contagious and whose presence brought people together without effort. Whether she was cracking jokes, dancing to her favorite songs, or uplifting friends during tough times, she had a way of making people feel appreciated. Those who knew her well spoke about how she made every environment feel lighter, every gathering more memorable, and every conversation more meaningful. During her years at Peabody Magnet High School, Shaterrica continued to shine. She threw herself into extracurricular activities, built meaningful friendships, and left a mark on teachers who remembered her long after she graduated. When she walked across that stage in 2005, diploma in hand, she carried with her not just academic success, but a reputation for warmth, boldness, and authenticity. As she transitioned into adulthood, her vibrant personality translated beautifully onto social media. Followers watched as she experimented with fashion, modeling outfits that blended confidence with style. Her posts were full of color and charisma, representing the same bold energy she had carried since childhood. But beyond the curated images and captivating photos, there was something softer, a woman who deeply cared for the people she loved, a woman whose compassion ran deep. Eventually, this compassion led her into the next major chapter of her life. Her life took a turn when she met a man we'll call Frank for the purpose of this story. He entered her world quietly at first, but their connection blossomed quickly. They shared interests, values, and the kind of chemistry that made their bond feel undeniable. Before long, they found themselves building a life together. Not long into their relationship, Shaterrica discovered she was pregnant. She and Frank were overwhelmed with joy. When their daughter Kingsley arrived, their happiness doubled. Soon after, they welcomed a baby boy, completing their family of 4. Motherhood came naturally to her. She nurtured her children with the same warmth she had always shared with the world. Her friends often joked that her heart had expanded the moment she became a mother, as though there was no limit to the love she could give. But even with 2 beautiful children, even with memories being made and milestones celebrated, life wasn't as picture-perfect as outsiders imagined. Parenthood brought its own pressures. Exhaustion settled in, arguments became more frequent, and the once harmonious relationship began to crack in places neither of them knew how to repair. Eventually, the couple decided to part ways, yet Frank remained committed to their children, staying involved and present in their lives. Though their romantic relationship dissolved, co-parenting allowed them to maintain a sense of unity for Kingsley and her brother. And in the midst of rebuilding her life as a single mother, a new presence entered her world, someone who would play a defining role in her final years. When 42-year-old Tracy Johnson Williams came into her life, Shaterrica was open to love again. Tracy seemed attentive and affectionate from the very beginning. He showed her the kind of consideration any woman would appreciate: thoughtful surprises, heartfelt gestures, and romantic outings that made her feel cherished. Their relationship soon became visible to the world through their shared posts, pictures, and videos. To casual observers, they looked inseparable. They laughed together, traveled together, and seemed to embody the sort of partnership many people hope to find.
What's up, Queen? Me and my other half. Who you going for with?
What's understood?
Okay. Everybody going on a little date. Eat us some different food from the kids. You give me some me time, some us time. You know, we've been walking through the parks all day. Now it's time for us just to sit there and just get us some quiet time, sip a little wine, and just, you know, discuss real husband and wife
shit to discuss.
Baby. It's a video.
But as their relationship deepened, cracks began to form beneath the glossy surface. Tracy's behavior slowly shifted. The man who once celebrated her confidence began to view it as something threatening. Her independence, her bold personality, and her blossoming social life all became triggers for his insecurities. What started as subtle discomfort evolved into something far more unstable. Shaterrica loved going out. She loved dancing, dressing up, and living fully. Her social media presence thrived, with more followers, more engagement, and more attention. But with every picture posted and every event attended, Tracy's jealousy intensified. His mood swings became unpredictable. Arguments erupted more frequently. Control seeped into their interactions like a slow poison. Those who saw the couple together never imagined the tension simmering beneath the surface. To outsiders, they were still the polished pair, affectionate, united, and seemingly unbreakable. But behind closed doors, the emotional distance widened each day. And as March 2025 approached, their relationship reached a point of volatility that could no longer be concealed. In the days leading up to March 30th, conflict became a constant. Fights erupted over insecurities, misunderstandings, and fear. Tracy's jealousy spiraled, fueled by the idea that her growing independence meant slipping away from him. Then came that fateful morning. Around 4:30 a.m., neighbors heard raised voices. A call to 911 soon followed. When police entered the apartment, they walked into a scene that felt unreal. Chhaterica lay motionless. Just a few steps away, Tracy's body rested beside the firearm he used. It took only seconds to end a life so full of promise. Seconds to rob 2 children of their mother. Seconds to turn a celebration into the unthinkable. As investigators pieced together what happened, they discovered what many close to the couple hadn't known: jealousy, emotional manipulation, and escalating tension had been building for far longer than anyone realized. The couple who once smiled in every photo now became another tragic reminder of how hidden pain can grow silently until it becomes deadly. When news of their death spread, shock rippled through Alexandria. People struggled to understand how a romance that appeared so joyful could transform into something this tragic. Family members, Friends, neighbors, and even strangers who followed Chhaterica online found themselves grieving. Her mother, Terry, spoke about her daughter with a heart heavy with loss. To her, Shaterrica wasn't just a victim on the news. She was a bright, loving soul who deserved a lifetime of happiness and safety. A GoFundMe was launched to support her 2 young children, who were now left facing a future without the woman who loved them most. The community responded with compassion and generosity, rallying behind the family in their darkest moment. But beyond grief, the tragedy ignited conversations, difficult but necessary ones. People began to talk more openly about the signs of emotional manipulation, about unchecked jealousy and how it festers into dangerous behavior, about the difference between love and possession, and about the importance of recognizing when a relationship stops being safe. As days passed, stories about Shaterrica resurfaced, stories that captured the essence of who she truly was. Friends recalled the way she embraced life, the way she encouraged others, and how she wore her confidence with pride. They spoke about her humor, her warmth, and her ability to turn any moment into a memory. Her children remembered her affection, her silliness, and the joy she carried into every room. Even during tough times, she remained a devoted mother who centered her life around them. On social media, her pictures transformed into a tribute. People posted memories, prayers, and words of love. Her bright outfits, bold makeup looks, and charismatic poses now carried a heavier emotional weight, reminders of a woman who should have had more time. Tracy's story, though tragic, became a cautionary tale about what happens when insecurity is left untreated, when jealousy goes unchallenged, and when emotional volatility replaces healthy communication. Together, their story echoed a truth many are reluctant to discuss. Emotional wounds can become just as dangerous as physical ones when they remain in the shadows. As we reflect on the journey of Shaterrica Smith, her story stands as more than just a headline. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend, and a vibrant force whose presence shaped the lives of countless people. Her death was a devastating loss, but her life, full of love, resilience, and unapologetic authenticity, continues to inspire those who knew her. Her story urges us to ask deeper questions. How do we recognize hidden pain in others? How do we confront jealousy before it becomes destructive? How do we protect those who seem strong on the outside but may be suffering in silence? In honoring Shaterrica, we honor the importance of those questions. Her legacy survives in her children, who carry her spirit. It lives on in the conversations her tragedy sparked, in the awareness it raised, and in the reminder that no relationship, no matter how perfect it appears, is immune to danger when emotional turmoil goes unaddressed. In the end, her story is a call to listen more closely, love more responsibly, and remain attentive to the emotional well-being of ourselves and others. May her memory continue to shine as brightly as the light she carried throughout her life.